Hey guys, I left from Epidaurus, passed through Tripoli of Greece obviously, not of Italy, and arrived in Sparta. Sparta was really famous between 8th to 5th century before Christ. It is believed that Spartans are part of some Doric tribes that came from the north side and more or less put the end of the Mycenaean era. And they had a pretty interesting way of life because they lived in a really hierarchical military system, and by a set of decrees issued by the legendary ruler Lycurgus. So they didn't have walls like the other civilizations and tribes around Greece, because they believed that a city is made by men, not by walls. So they lived actually in this plain, which is the plain of Evrotas river. If you remember from Thermopylae, on both sides of Leonidas' statue were other two big statues. One personifying the mountain Tigeros, which is behind over there, is on the west side of the plain, and the other statue personifying the river Evrotas or Eurotas, which is here on the east side. So this plain was actually formed by the river Evrotas, and here there were about 4 villages that formed the ancient kingdom of Sparta. And as I said, with no walls. There was a elite society that usually was the one who formed the army, and the majority of population were actually serfdom, under the serfdom system. They were the ones who worked for the elite. They were named helots. So interesting way of life for the elite, because it is known that since the age of 7 until the age of 30, young men were introduced in the art of battle and warriors by nature. It is known that obviously when a child was born with some challenges, they usually disappeared because they were believed to be a weak link into the battle formation, probably. Well, this is Sparta. As I said, they flourished between 8th and 5th century before Christ, and also during the Romans. Well, after they defeated the mighty Athens in the war of Peloponnesian, the population usually slowly declined, and during the Romans it started to flourish again, and especially after the 3rd century there was another town that started to grow in the north side. It's called Mistra, a town that for centuries it was mistaken to be the ancient Sparta. Well, there is really a subject that I avoided to talk about it, about Peloponnese especially. It's such a beautiful area, but if you're a tourist and especially a backpacker like me, well, you have to try not to hitchhike, And I had some problems the last days, which were Easter holidays, trying to hitchhike from Nafplio to Epidaurus. And it's not the first time when it's happening this, because I spent in the first day of the holiday 4 hours trying to hitchhike and nobody would stop. And I wondered why, because Greece is by definition a country of tourism, so they should be welcoming all the time, and also tourists like myself should be also well received. And a good sign of receiving is to give a little bit of hand of help for in those kind of situations. I didn't use hitchhiking in Greece because they have a really good system for buses and railway station. Not in Peloponnese for the part with the trains, but buses are quite usual and easy to get from one point to another. But during the holidays, nothing runs. So I had another experience somewhere near to Olympus Mountains. There was a day when it was a strike, and it happened the same. Nobody stops, and I wonder why. So I found there are probably three possibilities. One, let's say, that could be fear of taking someone in the car, which can be natural. But that means that the blood of old Spartans, ancient Greek warriors, is long gone. They don't have this blood in their system anymore. So that's a bit pitiful. Secondly, let's say that probably they are welcoming only if you pay them. And for that, I would say that I feel sorry for them. And the third one, which is a bit naughty, but it's not that I say that, because there are Greeks that are saying this kind of thing about the other Greeks. So they're saying about themselves is that they are wankers. Yes. That means malachias in Greek language. I don't know which one of those three choices it's applicable, probably all three of them. But it's quite frustrating to be in such a country and to be treated as you don't exist, or you don't, nobody cares about you. And knowing that I don't have any kind of meaning of transportation in those days, and trying to get into another city 20 kilometers away, so it wasn't a big distance. Most of those cars were coming from the church, probably, from the sermon, praying for a better world, for a better treatment to your fellowship. And it was striking. It was a time when I was thinking a lot about this country. There's a saying in my country: a beautiful country, too bad it's occupied or inhabited by his own people. So coming back to this place, Sparta, unfortunately doesn't give much of ancient monuments, with the exception of this theater here. It is known that there was a theater in the 5th century before Christ, but there are not many evidence that this one is the one. It could be also a theater built during the Romans. And there are still some other ruins of some basilicas from the 10th century after Christ, and ruins of temples dedicated to Athena and Artemis. Also another place which is believed to be a temple of Leonidas, and somewhere a bit farther away, 5 kilometers from the city, there's another place which is called the place of Menelaus and Helen. Well, this is Sparta, Peloponnese. I was expecting more, but I think the reason for which you might want to come here is about imagining how that special civilization of Spartans used to live and were, and about the landscape, which is amazing. The mountains are exquisite. So, see you next time.